It's time for the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports, featuring Jim Holthus and McGranahan. And now,
You're on, guys.
You're on, guys. He's on, guys. We're on, guys. Folks, welcome to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports. The usual suspects, Jim Holthus and Dan the Man McGranahan, live here in-house, piloting tonight's ship. What's going down?
What's up, my brother? Yeah, dude, just ready to do it tonight. We got some big content in the house, some fun guys.
Do it.
Do it. Hey, do it. Just do it. Just do it. You can get stuck in that.
Little Starsky and Hutch.
Poor people listening.
Oh,
Is that what that's from?
that's just poor people that listen to this show.
Wealthy people listening, whatever.
Just saying. What's going down, man? Yeah.
We should talk back and forth over a guest until he gets so uncomfortable. He's like, introduce me.
And then we start playing frisbee around him or something.
Anything we can do to make this guy's life difficult, because he basically spends his time making the people around him life difficult in the best way, in the way that we love him for. But he is an absolute character, wouldn't you say?
I would say.
How about if I tee him up right now, like I was going to introduce him, and then I pulled back and started bantering with you?
Still not going. And this mystery guest that we've got here on site, that he matches the Scotia boom bottle? Is that by accident? I don't think so. Okay.
He does dress to impress. Give you a hint, half the time you see him driving around in an ambulance. It's not in the back, though, it's in the front.
Interesting. It is.
Yes, I think I might have thrown you a little bit on that one. He has a custom ambulance, Hot Wheels ambulance, that he rolls his family around, and he actually makes his wife drive around with him. And she just covered her head. He's like, okay, whatever you want to do.
Dude, I want a real ambulance. Some guys had ambulance.
It is a real ambulance.
Some guys had ambulance as chase trucks in
Yeah.
Baja.
Yeah.
It's already got all the onboard air and lighting that you'd ever need. I mean, who doesn't want an ambulance? I
He
kind
sure
of
wants to jump in on this right now. All right, come on. The wait is over. Let me introduce you guys to a great friend of the show, a great friend of mine here, the one and only FMX Icon legend. Yes, sir.
And he's our board operator, Chris.
Crazy.
Ronnie Renner is here, folks.
Yes.
What's going on, man? Finally.
The king of the step up.
Hey, we're stoked to have you back, man.
Coming from the guy who's got the halo coming over his head with the sun going down over
That's what the sun.
here. I'm in awe right now. Oh, yeah.
That's just how I roll.
What's going on? What's not going on, man? I mean, not just chilling in the AC, rapping out. I'm out here slaving on mechanics and Kiwi bikes and my own stuff. It's pretty out of control.
You were definitely like getting into that phase of life where you were going to be doing a lot of TV dad. You watching some of the other guys like Brian and going, okay, ramping up for that.
Well, my oldest kid's into mountain biking, and
Not just into mountain biking, he is an incredibly talented young man.
yeah, he's after it pretty good. He's shooting for that rampage stuff, of course, up in Obamacare or something. But yeah, he's a hooker, and then Josh is 13, getting road rash in the scooter, skate park all the time. And my two little ones that are right here tonight, Chloe and Jet, they're peeweeing a couple times a week. So the mountain bike thing, though, is a funny one. You think a bicycle's easy to work on, and those things are intricate and a pain in the butt.
Dude, I can carry a bike to the ground and back up. Like, I can't split the casing on the training, but I could get into the.
Yeah, when you do a training, that's on your own.
Yeah, that's a different story. But I had my derailleur was off my mountain bike, and I could take it into the guy. I could not make the thing work.
That's
I'm like,
pretty sad.
here, I know there's only 3 bolts here, but I don't know what to do.
When YouTube can't pull you out of that trench, it's bad.
I have to admit, I've actually spent quite a bit of time looking up things on YouTube, like, how do I do that again? But it gets me lazy, just like GPS. You remember what it was like before GPS? Like, we got around. And now, I don't even pay attention to where I'm going. I'm just looking at the GPS. It's like, okay, here we go where it tells me to go. I have become a zombie. The zombification of our society is that we're
GPS was so great. I worked in real estate. I used to print up these map quests, and you got to go show people like 6 homes. And when MapQuest is wrong on the first one, the rest of them are just, it's horrible. So I bought this first portable Magellan like you used to see it in rent-a-cars, and the thing was like, I don't know, $1,600 for the low-level technology. Went out to King of the Hammers one time in the freezing cold, watching the race, and the thing froze. It never came back on.
Dude, I never left without one of those, like, I don't know, 5 foot tall by 3 foot wide Rand McNally mats.
Oh, yeah.
That, I mean, if I got on the road to go, like, when I was a privateer, if I didn't have that, I was at the first Walmart getting a new one. And
Yeah.
that was it. You didn't have any options. Like, this is before, like, I think I had a cell phone. I mean, that's really big.
All these forms of technology, and you think about it, and it's all exceeded by this one little machine right now.
And everybody's on it while they're driving down the freeway to get here, too. They run right into you because their maps might have a little arrow to the right.
Yeah, or they're busy playing freeway Pokemon, which is a whole new game that.
I hear the Pokemon craze is actually slowing down.
Yeah, it's down to 44 million users a day. So like for all.
Yeah, but from 144, it's plummeting.
I heard a story the other day, those guys are making like $1 billion a week off that.
Yeah, we're gonna start talking some app games when this show is over tonight.
Ronnie,
I gotta jump gaps and
yeah, what's the big money idea? Stop working so hard.
none of them revolve around dirt bikes unless you're the champ, probably. And I'm not talking freestyle champ.
What about Action Sports Game Show? That's what I've been wanting to, a real game show.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
Good host.
A new car!
You guys are busy every day of the week.
We are busy every day of the week. We just don't get to ride every day of the week. When was that time you rode? Have you been riding?
So jet ski this morning and the flag of it, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Sending it out there in the waves and made it back in one piece, didn't be eaten by a shark. It's a good day. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like, I have one of those wave blasters that are dated back into the 90s. That Omaha made it like from, I don't know, like 94 through 96.
Yeah.
And there were two, they were not buoyant enough, so anybody that got them couldn't just sit on it and go fishing or something. It was actually like a performance driving thing. So people, I can't be lazy on this.
A blaster?
Yeah.
Is that the first one that shot the big thing? It's more of a bike too?
Well, it's just
harder to ride.
It's real nimble, you know?
Yeah.
When you got nimble in water, it's usually not as floaty. That's how it works. But the stand-ups are their own animal. I don't really like those that much. Don't tell Victor I said that. But they're just squirrely for me, not that comfortable. But the wave blaster is cool. You like turn around, you know, I hate saying it's in quads, but you know, you could sit down if you needed to and cruise, but you have to kind of keep the balance.
Well, they also call that their quad blaster.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not riding one of those out there. I'm not riding one of those, period.
Because I really love, I think you posted it the other day, that picture of the quad and the bike guy. And then like, he's like, hey bro, can we go ride sometime?
Nah.
Nope.
How about the wet bike? Do you remember the wet bike?
It was too good. I had to post it. Yeah, the wet bike.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the thing I rode today. This thing called the Reaper, man. It's like, I think they got a company called Crash. I don't know.
It's called Crash.
Interestingly enough.
I don't know why they didn't make it.
No, it's just this hole that it's the closest thing you get to a dirt bike. Big old handlebars up here and it's got like a moto seat on it. I never did the water jet though to compare it, but it must not have been that good because it's not alive anymore.
Well, hey, did you guys catch any of the weekend's action? Do you watch UFC and stuff like that?
Yeah, a little bit. I try not to get too into it because next thing you know, I'm like being there thinking everybody's a UFC fighter. I'm really scared to walk around the neighborhood. Can't lift off anybody anymore around here.
They are.
Can't flip anybody off in traffic anymore without thinking you might get choked out.
Right.
It sucks.
Ever since everybody started training UFC,
Yeah, man.
you know what?
Just can't be allowed nothing like I used to be.
That's gotta be a problem for you, actually.
All 5'7" and 150 pounds of me. I think that's fair. Ronda Rousey would just whip me around.
So we had
As far
the,
as people that can talk a big game, you got in the UFC, you got Conor McGranahan, and in freestyle moto, you had Danny Monument.
Yeah.
And they were very comfortable in the way they portrayed themselves. And, you know, and they backed it up.
with championship,
Yeah.
the Conor McGranahan of freestyle moto.
I don't know if I was about to repeat, but that's a whole special breed.
Give me a moment where you lift off to somebody and you were like, man,
Oh, I thought this one time, I thought Deegan was gonna just straight up kill me because I wrote an article and talked a little bit of trash. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that article, and yeah, that's how I was done for. And,
you ever asked him about it?
no, I kind of just left that one alone. I on my way out of it. So,
Kind of don't want to bring it up.
I was scared, man, because a couple of the homies were all around and this and that. I'm like, I'm not a fighter anyways, and definitely wasn't 10 years ago. And I wasn't about to open that can of worms. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. Like, sometimes
Everybody was so scared of the bullshit back in the day.
you gotta, know when you made a mistake. I for sure did something stupid, and I can swallow my pride, and not want to quit it, because I'm sure Deegan used to fight with those trainers, those guys and all that, so I'm not gonna mess with that.
I mean, he's pretty talented, dude. Fitness wise.
Gnarly dude, period. He goes for it.
Yeah, he definitely goes for it. So,
all in at all levels.
you gotten some hot water. Do you ever face off with them like in an actual competition setting or something like that, or somebody else where there was like real tension?
Nah, we've kept it pretty mellow everywhere. I think me and Trevor Vines almost got into it one time, and then me and Matt Mike, I think I blocked past Mike over a girl or something one time at the club, and he wanted to kill me, but that was pretty much an every night thing with judging. Yeah, I mean, back in the judge IFMA contest about 12 years ago or so, we were all nickel and diamond judges for points, and all pretty prideful of our riding, and there was some tempers flaring, who got more practice, cutting each other in line to go out,
You ever seen something shady back in the day, like 12 years ago, you're comfortable talking about it now happening?
Probably the vegan thing. I don't think I've ever mentioned that to everybody,
Well, I meant like,
What about telling
it
everybody?
really takes the cash or something like that.
Nah. So.
All right, he's not.
I never had to bribe anybody.
That's fine.
Hey, so,
I never cared enough about my results, to be honest. I just went out to have fun and get out of there in one piece.
Well, he also came from racing, and the freestylers that came from racing had such an appreciation for how much they were making and how well they were being treated anyways, because they knew what the other tackles were like. Right?
Yeah, and I know what comes with, one good, you're only as good as your last event. And the bar is always raising, still, the progression's out of
Is that a
control.
separate pump?
So
I was just gonna say, in his case, they're literally raising the bar, yeah.
the risk to reward is so out of balance that, I thought the risk to reward was out of balance back in '02. When people had to start doing a rock solid and let go of your bike, I'm like, all right, I'm not doing that. I'm drawing the line right there. And then like a year later, it was a backflip. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And I was doing backflips. And then it was like, you need to do a combination backflip. And I'm like, I'm never doing that. And then I'm at Pastrana's house, breaking my back in the pit, trying to learn stuff. And that's where all right, I'm done. Like, seriously this time.
For reals.
Yeah.
So what is the most advanced trick that you've attempted in your eyes?
Oh, man. Attempted, just trying to take it to the foam pit.
Okay,
I think I threw in the towel, honestly, with my freestyle progression in 2006 at Pastrana's house. He was learning double flip before that big shin days. He had my confidence all up, but I had great tricks, and all I needed was a couple backflip combos, and I'd be on the podium again. And I was trying the Cordova backflip, and I think maybe messing around with the Superman flip. Anyways, lazy boy flip, came in under rotated in the foam pit, and then he ejected me head first into the pit to where I was all twisted. I swore my backflip broke, right?
Yeah.
And there was these people, this is gonna sound like a joke, but literally guys straight from Poland that were on like a road trip around.
Well, random Pastrana will.
They were just on a road trip around America, and they found Pastrana's house, and they saw Robert, and they're like, hey, can we come in and watch? He's like, Robert's like, yeah, we come in and help. So there's 3 Polish guys that were there helping us get out of the foam pit. And I went in like a lawn dart, and they actually were, and my helmet strap was choking me where I couldn't breathe. Like literally thought I could die.
And
right
you can't
here.
breathe in those things anyways because there's so much dust and debris.
It's pretty heavy duty. And anyways, my back's completely arched, like to the point where I feel like it's gonna just pop, And these dudes jump in right on my back to try to find me. They didn't realize I darted in so far. And I can't yell. And I'm like, this is what it takes to get back on the podium and freestyle. I'm done. I'm like, that's when free riding had just came into my life, and it's like, yep, I'm checking out. This is it. I'm not doing any more contests like this anymore.
There are very few people. You just brought it up, and there are very few people in the world that I would pay to go watch free ride. I'd love to watch a lot of people free ride, but there are a few that I would pay to watch. I would absolutely pay to watch Ronnie free ride. It is like watching it's like watching Picasso paint. I mean, it's really an incredible experience. To go to Ocotillo with you, or Beaumont, or some of these places where you go and watch you do what you do. There's a handful of people in that club for me and you were right there.
Thanks,
Really,
dude.
really impressed with your free riding prowess, and it still seems to be as strong as ever.
I got a card reader and PayPal right here. We'll sign that up.
Okay, let's do it.
But I do appreciate it.
But I got to go watch you live first,
Oh, man.
or at the same time at least.
It's definitely acquired taste. There's a lot of work that goes into it. You don't just show up and, all of a sudden find jumps and hits. And you got to be dedicated and patient for the weather. And, there's a lot going on with it. But at the end of the day, anybody that's doing good at anything, you got to be passionate about it. So I would say that's where I'm definitely like a kid in a candy store out there. And it probably traces back to coming from Florida and not having much terrain. That was always my favorite thing, was to find piles of dirt and just make a booter out of it. So Ocotillo is a big booter.
Yes.
I think we're going to go to break here, but let's talk about Ocotillo and Utah and some of these other places because you've now taken it to a whole nother level, and you go to some pretty special places.
That's the beauty of it, the traveling, man.
Ronnie Renner, special places. When we come back, the Action Sports Show. Don't go away.
It'll rock your brain. Ruin your good name. Take money for your shame. And we're wrong, it's our shame. What can you do? One name should know the best place you can go. Toyota of Escondido.
You already know that Toyota of Escondido has a huge selection of new and used Toyotas, right? But I bet they have a few more things you didn't even know, like a certified collision center. If you're ever in an accident, get your Toyota fixed with the proper parts it was meant to have at Escondido's only Toyota certified collision center.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
Looking to save money? Toyota of Escondido has a full refinance department. Keep your current car no matter the make or model, and let Toyota of Escondido's refinance team help lower your monthly payment or current interest rate. Visit ToyotaEscondido.com and click the refinance tab.
Toyota of Escondido.
ToyotaEscondido.com. Shop for your new Toyota and much, much more.
Howdy ho! This is Ronnie Renner here, and you're listening to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota of Escondido. Blip.
You're on, guys.
Gotta update that thing.
Did you hear that guy? That guy's right here. Folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido. Jim Holthus, Dan McGranahan. Hey, if you're just joining us, remember, while you're on the website, follow the social media at TE Action Sports. That's at TE Action Sports. And subscribe to the podcast. Get awesome stuff injected directly into your brain each and every week, following every Tuesday's show.
Just the way the government likes it.
But hey, here we are. We're talking to our great guest, Ronnie Renner. And Dan wants to talk some Ocotillo Wells.
Well, Ocotillo and some of these other outlying places that
Del Mar,
you might be keeping a little bit to yourself that maybe you should say a few things about.
Yeah. I mean, we've blown out Ocotillo. I mean, it's on its last leg. It hasn't rained out there, I think, since Moby Dick was a minnow. And
This guy.
it's turning into the sand dunes. Honestly, it's
turning into
gnarly
Glamis?
out there. Yeah, and I've actually, not to flip the script too much, but how I've learned to kind of enjoy the places like that are closest to home is in my Razor. Dirt bikes are awesome. It's
Racers are a blast.
my heart and soul. But go out there in the Razor, and I'm finding new jumps and new things that kind of shiver your timbers a little bit. It's not quite like hitting a mega gap, but you still got to put yourself out there for a possible case or.
I literally haven't been out there in over a couple years, so it's really changed during that time as far as sand and
just
the ability to do what you guys do.
I think a lot more four-wheel traffic with the Razors.
Yeah.
And, just the fact that it's been dry. They said El Nino was here, but I never saw it in SoCal.
I never saw him.
Guys.
Like here in the studio.
No,
that little guy.
I've only been here a couple times, but yeah.
There he is. It's El Nino right there.
He didn't come to Ocotillo Wells, man. That place has been just dried out, and it's kind of weird. It's it needs that water to kind of restructure. It regenerates itself, some of that mud hump stuff. So it hasn't happened in a while. So I'm always trekking on. Besides the Razor thing helping me, I don't know, stay invigorated or fresh with it. I'm obviously taking the trips to Utah. Like tomorrow, I'm leaving for Idaho to go to the UTV Invasion, which is at the St. Anthony Sand Dunes.
Nice.
Yeah, just hitting farther and farther spots away. Obviously, who wouldn't like to go to South Africa and ride the dunes there? I got a lot of things on the bucket wish list, but
A rally, maybe a Dakar type rally,
I
something
don't
crazy
know.
like that.
I just went to the KTM rider rally in South Dakota last week, and that was pretty awesome. Riding one of
How
those
about
1190s.
How about a Baja race
Dude,
in a Razor?
I'm down. Yeah, maybe I'm down to go 100 on a bike, but not anywhere but on a flat road.
What's interesting about a Razor for me is like if you get out to Ocotillo and you're like climbing some super technical steep hill, and you're kind of like whatever, you kind of can bail out. You might fall 5 or 10 feet before you know where there's a ledge that you can stop yourself with. But on a Razor, like you're along for the ride,
and you're just looking at the moon. You can't like stick your head out and look around the corner and see what's up.
Right?
Like,
Matter of fact,
committed,
if you're going, you don't want to stick anything out.
No.
If you're
Oh no,
Roll
you want
out,
to like
yeah.
cross your arms and keep stuff from flying out. But
I mean,
it's
you do have the cage and the seats and all that kind of stuff, but
there's
like
probably
you
a
said,
lot of
you're-
fails videos out there.
Oh,
For sure. I've been a part of a couple by just winging it, and you learn to kind of scout the perimeter and figure out what you're going to do, and have that, quote my fingers there, faith
yeah.
that it's going to work itself out and the gravity is going to prevail. But sometimes it kicks you in the butt.
Along gravity always prevails,
Yeah.
but sometimes it kicks you in the butt along the way.
Not for my benefit sometimes, for its own.
So have you climbed some steep stuff on those things where you're kind of like, oh, I'm asking for it right now?
Well, that's like my thing on dirt bikes is I like gravitate towards steeper jumps.
Okay.
And I just instantly try that in the Razor, and it's weird because you can't manipulate the thing any. You have
Right.
to like do it all with the throttle off the face of the jump, and if you didn't do it right, there's some puckering moments where you're cliff hanging that thing off the side and you land all straight up and down. I've only flipped one time. This is my introduction to Polaris, by the way. Get to Camp Razor East. I'm sure you guys know Joey D.
oh,
He
Friend of the
Renner,
show.
follow me.
Kingpin.
Hop in. They'll just hop in one of those units. They'll get you set up. Follow me, and we get out there into the trails. And I'm about an hour in. It's my first thing I ever did with Polaris.
Having a blast, probably.
And find these hill climbs, and he goes ripping up this thing, and I didn't really pay attention. I'm like, well, if Joey did it, I can do it. Turned the corner and gunned it, and the front wheel drive was on, so it caught. And I'm always in 2-wheel drive. I just like getting rowdy with the back end.
Yeah.
And the front wheels caught this root, and it actually climbed the tree and basically backflipped off the tree about 50 feet up this hill and did a couple somersaults back down the hill and landed on my side, and like had to bring the Razor back, like limping with a one wheel tie strapped up, A-arm broke, all dented up. Like, here you go. Like, well,
those are fun.
thanks for having me.
All right, so I'm going to jam now.
See you next year.
Where can I get another one?
That is awesome. That is awesome. Those guys are really cool. It seems like you guys are building a bit of a relationship, you and Razor.
Yeah, definitely. They like the free riding stuff I do. There's a million people racing out there, and not that I don't like racing. I've been doing some Lucas stuff in the SR1 class, and how could you not like it?
Sure.
Minus my pulling my wallet out and my checkbook
cost,
out
yeah.
all the time. I don't like that part.
So you're doing free driving now.
Free driving. I call it free ride everything, man. Who says you can't? I go free ride a jet ski, free ride a
Yeah.
dirt bike. I'm not racing. I'm not getting judged.
Are you doing the regional series?
Yeah.
You are.
Yep. SR1 class.
Nice.
Getting just whipped out there by Corey Weller and Dustin Nelson
Well,
and a couple other people.
everyone but Corey Weller gets whipped by Corey Weller.
Yeah,
Kinda.
man, it's gnarly. I got a long way to learn there. I don't know if I have the patience for that learning curve needed, and I definitely don't have the budget or the seat time to catch them. So it's going to have to be patience, I think.
I love the idea of free ride those things.
No, it's cool. I mean, it takes a little more effort. You got to shape the jumps up right. You got to definitely have a better eye for it than you even would on a dirt bike.
So have you boosted those things pretty good?
Yeah, I've launched pretty good. In the dunes, I usually can find jumps bigger than my back wants me to go.
Okay.
The Fox suspension I sound like I'm really doing a promo
You're
right now.
dialed right
Fox
now. You're
suspension's
killing it.
running great. The Fullerton sand tires are hooking up well in the dunes. The Tenzer tires are hooking up well out in Ocotillo in the dirt. The SDR built Polaris Razor HCR long travel. I can go on and on. And the rigid industry lights are just keeping things bright at night. It's
And powered by
beautiful thing.
Red Bull, of course. And,
Of course, just sipping and chugging Red Bulls all night. It's a wild time in the desert. The GoPro's on at all times. Got my Fox helmet on. Sparko straps.
Then I jump on my KTM.
Yeah.
Did you hear the big news in the UTV world yesterday? The big signing Greaves Motorsports teams up with factory Yamaha UTVs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another ripper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
The CJ or boat pops in.
It just says Greaves Motorsports, so I believe it's the whole family.
Hard company to match up to on the track right there. When
The
I got
Greaves
this learning curve I'm looking for.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I like the way you take your own route and don't just like try to, beat everybody at their game that they've been at and they can outspin you at. But they can't.
Hey, that SR1 class, there's no outspin. I got a lot to learn before I can start saying somebody's car is faster than mine, and
Gotcha.
my hat's off to those top drivers. It's like surfing, all right? You know the surfing world.
Yep.
I came from Florida. I'm like, surfing, look how fun that is. I can figure that out. Dude, if you don't have the seat time or the board time or know how to paddle, you ain't making it out past the whitewash without dying,
right.
you know? And the same goes for off-road. Yeah,
that's my problem.
You can get it sideways in a corner and you can make it look pretty and this and that, but to connect all the dots and run a good lap time and do it in traffic and stay on somebody's bumper and all that.
Even though you are a racer, like you have that, you've always had that.
Yeah, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. You got MC, Deegan, how many moto guys? Twitch has gone out there and put it on top of the box or close to it. I think
He doesn't get pre-racer credit though. He's a racer now, but I don't think
Ellis has put it on top of on the track.
I don't think Ellis was much of a racer either before.
Yeah, I mean, but the moto.
But they're all bad dudes.
The moto guys do figure it out. And Deegan's my best example I can give. That guy started in the lights class, worked his way up, and he just drives every day. He's infatuated with it, and that's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go out and play around here and there, but it's not going to get me to the top of those guys. And I like the challenge, not going to lie, but I also like being realistic and not naive too. So I'm going to see how Elsinore goes here in a couple weeks. I think there's one or two more after that, and then might be an SR1 for sale, or there might be another one getting built. We'll see. All
right. So what's a day in Ronnie's life like these days? I mean, you wake up around 11, your wife brings you breakfast.
Oh.
She brings the kids in to say hi to dad, and then
she's not here right now, is she?
That's why I can say this.
No, she's
there
listening.
She is.
They're always listening way up in the distance.
He checks to see if she's here first.
Yeah, I get up around 5 in the morning, cook everybody breakfast, and put on a pot of coffee. Just doing my due diligence. I can't even say it straight.
He's lying, everybody.
That's sarcasm, ultimate sarcasm.
It's not lying.
It's
if he believes
hyperbole.
it.
It's hyperbole, which is a lying that's allowed.
It's pretty bad. I wake up about 7. It takes me about a half hour to get out of bed. The older ones are already off to school by the time I'm out of bed. I think I might hear the door close, make sure they left on time, and that kind of cranks the day up. I do have some fun stuff. I'll take kind of mix it up. I'll get on my dual sport. I got the 500 EXC.
I know, man. I want to go on one of these rides with you.
I take the kids to school.
Is that the new? That's the new street legal one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, not new. I mean, it's been around. It's just the moto style one.
Yeah.
I've showed up to the track with it and honking the horn at people, and that's pretty low blow when you do that. You get some dirty looks. It's like, really? The guy in tennis shoes and shorts, no knee pads, just honked the horn as he passed and whipped over me. Something satisfying about it.
I bet.
It feels really good. But now I'll take them to school, and then it's kind of like off to my shop, and there's too much work to be done there. I mean, you can imagine all the stuff I'm into. None of it fixes itself.
Right.
I spend too much to hire a full-time mechanic. No, I don't.
You'd rather spend that money on yourself racing and parts and whatnot.
Got my buddy Danny Rambert helps me out here and there, and it's a tough gig to have somebody on full time. That's another thing. I don't know how these race teams in the off-road world they do it. They're providing jobs for 4 or 5 people at least.
The key is to start with 4 million and be willing to leave with 1.
Yeah, it's the secret to success.
That's it right there.
How to be a millionaire in racing. Start with 10.
Yes, exactly.
Oh God. Moto's all right though. I can handle everything, and if it gets too nitty gritty with I've never blown any motors up or anything. I can't remember the last. I don't think I've ever blown up a KTM, and that's not even a shameless plug. But if anything gets going inside that gearbox, I'm lucky enough that factory shop's right there in Marietta.
Yeah.
Are you digging the short course stuff? Would you ever like to dabble in the trucks or?
Yeah, who wouldn't? I mean, it looks just ridiculous to hop in one of those. And honestly, I'm in that SR1 class, which is the rowdiest power to weight ratio that you can get in.
Absolutely.
Even a light truck looks like a Cadillac out there. So that is the goal, to get up there, but you got to have the backing for it. And I know I'm on a couple people's radar, but I haven't put it on the podium in the SR1 class. I haven't done anything. I'm only 3 for 7 on finishes. I've roasted 2 motors and I don't know, DNF for whatever other reasons, but it's hard to get on top of the box when you're getting pulled in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
When you go to a X Games and you are riding basically a factory bike, I believe. Tell me, is that a factory bike? What is that thing?
I mean, it's my own version of a factory bike. I get a little bit of help if I want it with the motor, but 450s are so gnarly, like you almost want to detune them in a sense. When we go to Austin, the dirt's so slippery, you don't want too fast of a bike.
Right.
The year that I went the highest and had the record at 47 feet, that was on a stock factory edition bike. Just changed some gearing up, nothing special. So
those bikes are amazing because I always listen to them while they're there, and they just have this like sewing machine level like purr to them, like very consistent. They're not like screaming while they're just sitting there.
Yeah, I ran a factory machine the last couple of years. I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way and say I don't need it, but because I want to take those perks if they're available.
Yeah.
But it got so slippery at the end, I was just fighting for traction. That was the key ingredient to winning the event. And we're headed to Minneapolis next year, so
yeah. What about that?
Yeah, what do you think of that?
The venue's beautiful.
It's gonna be rad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm psyched to get out of Austin. That just wasn't.
I was just
ideal.
going to say, are you stoked to be out of Austin?
Yeah, I mean that. Now that I know the lay of the land there and all that, that's cool. But it's just in the middle of nowhere. The weather's too unpredictable. Wasn't any good for step up.
I'm just excited.
I won 2 out of 3 years. I can't complain, and that's what I love about the sport. You got to adapt and this and that, but it's just the dirt hardened up. I know what I need to do sometimes to win, and this year's a good example. I couldn't even manipulate the dirt with. There wasn't enough power tools or any. I couldn't have any power tools, but I didn't have enough hand tools.
They don't give him power tools.
No, it's dangerous. No, I just couldn't shape the thing to the way I needed it to try to win that event. So I knew my back was up against the ropes.
When you're having such traction issues, how much change can you do to your tire setup, or are you allowed to, or what's the deal?
Yeah, there's no rules. I mean, I could probably show up with a street bike tire if I wanted, but we've done practice at those events and it's like gumbo clay and super tacky, and then it just dries out for the show. So, there's always a chance of rain and this and that. So you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself with tire selection.
Get one of those Harley flat tracker slicks as a backup.
But for the record, my Dunlops have always hooked up phenomenal.
Serious. You actually, I think, own the shameless plug record for the show already.
I'm gonna get some more in
And
before
so
it's over.
we're gonna do a count at the end of this and see what we got going here, because
I'm gonna
that's
set the
already
bar.
been pretty impressive. So I'm excited for it to be indoors. Take away the weather aspect. Take away the sun beating down.
Everything's
on it.
indoors?
Well, everything. What I'm really excited about is I hope that X Games can return to its, level of like premier level, because it felt like it was slipping off of that from the moto side. It just felt like the X Games was losing its like premier, let there be light.
And there was,
that premium component to X Games.
Yeah, it
And
lost
I really
that
want
feel.
it back.
I mean, I can't point fingers or really, put my finger right on it, but
I mean,
it seemed like they just
would you like me to?
they've oversaturated it with some other sports and stuff like that, in my opinion, to, like it takes the limelight off of the things that built it.
Agreed. And those sports are still thriving if you give them the proper environment. Yeah.
Oh, totally.
So I'm psyched for it to be indoor. I wish they'd bring like speed and style back too. I'm kind of surprised they didn't, if they got a track there and everything.
is it been decided yet?
Well, maybe
to,
not.
or-
Maybe not. But
I mean, I'll be
to
a
my
little
knowledge, it's not
outspoken.
there.
What was it, 2 years ago? They had freestyle canceled, and whatever, there was a majority decision, or it was 50-50, and they decided to cancel it. And then they were going to do a demo for the fans that were there, but then guys were doing flares and half the tricks in the repertoire, and then they canceled the event. I mean, I think they shot themselves in the foot right there, that the next year X Games didn't bring them back.
The riders themselves shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I was there as well, and
I'm all about entertaining a crowd. I think that I've danced on top of the freaking hill before and did the sprinkler. So
nobody can throw a landing top of the landing kickworm like Ronnie Renner.
But at that point in time, you just got to shut it down all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like there was 10,000 fans sitting there waiting or whatever. I mean, it would have been totally understandable. Hey, it's too windy. We're out. Go watch Metallica play.
Right.
So that was a bum deal. Anyways, they brought it back. It's going to be good next year. I'd like to see where the sport goes since the whole Nitro Fest in Salt Lake thing. You know, I think people's expectations are going to be pretty high for tricks in big air.
Can you say somebody wrecked the curve?
Well, it's the same guy that started the curve, Travis.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's a great friend of
wrecking
mine.
the curve.
What are you
going to
say to that, right?
Travis can hop on a bike at any time and change the game. I mean, everybody on the dirt without an airbag lander or anything.
Oh yeah.
So no, he's just doing what his heart tells him on. If he sees guys hucking big stuff, why not?
Yeah.
Make this platform. But
well, what do you think about the breakaway ramps in X Games?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. I had to judge at the X Fighters this year, and Tom added that to his
that
run with
breakaway
the front
flare.
flip thing.
Yeah.
And hey, no problem with him. They agreed to do it for whatever reason. He got to use it, so we couldn't take that away from the judge's point of view.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'm not into the mechanical ramp thing for sure. I mean, you already have your body can detach from the bike and do all these things. You shouldn't have to add in stuff like that to get a trick dialed in.
Well, Jacko threw that front flip at X Games this last round, and it's a full blown like lawn dart trick.
Yeah.
Like you have to huck. You don't see the landing. You can't plan. You can't adjust. You're blind till it's all over. You just have to lawn dart
It's
it.
like a leap of faith.
Get it right.
Yeah.
And he nailed it. But I think there might be a place for the breakaway ramps.
Yeah, Nitro Circus shows, all that. Go for it.
Even in X Games, but the challenge is everybody has to have equal access to them. You can't create a specialty scenario that these guys don't have access or experience to. And so if you're going to allow that, you kind of have to pave the way and provide the time for people to have those and the ability for them to have them, I think.
Now, like a standalone contest like Nitro Games, if that's what everybody knows they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
You know, the airbag Resi Lander or whatever you call that, go for it. It's its own deal. But if that stuff starts coming to the X Games and that platform, I'm going to be pretty bummed because there's always that saying, taking it to dirt. You know what I mean? Not take it to Resi, not take it to airbag. Like those guys they have some cojones doing that stuff, and I could care less to do it, but nothing's like taking it to dirt.
No doubt about that. And it seems like we're taking it away from dirt.
Yeah, there would have been some serious yard sales and carnage if there was any more firmness on those landings.
Which I love that what that did for the progression of the sport, just allowing those moments to take place.
Yeah.
Sorry, we
got to take it to a break.
Time to cut.
Well, it's taking it to the dirt. Folks, hang on more. The Action Sports Show when we return.
Boom, boom.
In a rock show brain, ruin your good name. Take money for your shame. And we're wrong, it's a shame. What can you do? One name you should know, the best place you can go. Toyota of Escondido.
It's official. Once again, the truck pros at Toyota of Escondido sold more new Toyota trucks than any other Toyota dealer. That means more smart buyers like you trusted Toyota of Escondido's Truck Center to find them the right truck for work or play.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
It makes sense to buy from the truck sales leader. Let Toyota of Escondido customize your new truck to fit your active lifestyle. Choose from lift kits, custom tires and wheels, and much more. Come experience a whole new way to buy your next truck. Toyota truck sales leader for San Diego County for 2014.
You're listening to Guy Talk, broadcasting live from the Sport Clips Haircuts locker room. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, boxers or briefs?
Speaking briefly, boxers. Unless you're a boxer, then I'd go briefs. Next caller.
I want to find my nearest Sport Clips. but I don't want to ask for directions.
It's not technically asking for directions if you use sportclips.com to find your nearest Sport Clips location, and no one will ever know. Let's take a break for a word from our sponsor, Sport Clips, where guys go to get an awesome haircut while watching sports on TV. Throw in our relaxing massaging shampoo and our legendary hot steam towel, and you've got our MVP haircut experience. Your head will be as majestic as a freshly mowed Major League outfield. Try it today. Last caller, you're on the air with Guy Talk.
So how cool is getting a haircut at Sport Clips?
Oh, it's like stepping up to the plate and slam dunking a touchdown. That's all the time we have today. This has been Guy Talk, brought to you by Sport Clips, where it's good to be a guy.
What's up? This is Brian Deegan. You're listening to the Action Sports Show. That's what's up.
You're on, guys.
Folks, welcome to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports. Jim Holthus, Dan McGranahan. We are sitting here talking to, or texting maybe. Ronnie Renner is here live with us here in the Action Sports studio, part of the Action Sports Broadcast Network right here. And yeah, we're having a great day here in the Valley of Sun. Guys?
Well, what's happening? Well, we're doing some magic over here. You know, we got to respond to some of these Facebook people are out there. Super Mario checking in again. Happy to have him. Mark Moss wants to know what's going on with Costa Rica. So we'll hit Ronnie up about Costa Rica. I don't know if did you recently go to Costa Rica, or if you're planning on heading to Costa Rica. And shout out to Billy Bibler, who also checking in with us, and a couple of the boys. You know, it's always good.
Costa Rica? Did I hear Costa Rica?
So what happened? Did you go to Costa Rica?
Yeah, I actually went there for filming with my Real Moto project earlier in the year.
Oh, your Real Moto went to Costa Rica.
Yes, sir. The guys at Costa Rica Unlimited, just through my graphic sponsor, Enjoy Manufacturing, who now has a blowout on graphics. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, the guys at Enjoy. Actually, my little brother Robbie works there.
They're in Florida. They're based in Florida,
yeah,
right?
And good old MacGyver, the owner, he knows the guys at Costa Rica Unlimited and got me in touch with them. They kind of toured me around the country, showed me some epic spots. I got a ride in front of that Arenal volcano. Just tried to, my whole theory with the Real Moto edit was to start at the top of the mountain in the snow bike and end at the beach.
Yeah.
And what better?
Not a bad trip.
I know you can ride on the beach in Costa Rica in some spots, so I lined up with those dudes. They made it happen. And we just hit it off really well, man. And it's just one of those things where I want to have an opportunity to show people that part of the world. And the Unlimited guys have a solid program. And, I don't put my name behind something I can't stand behind. So
sure, yeah,
they're going to show people a damn good trip.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm like infatuated with the place. I want to keep going back and back and back. And I thought a great way to do it is to kind of put my name with a tour and kind of be a co-host.
Okay.
So we got some coming up.
Very cool.
I got to set some dates here soon, actually, for the next one. But
are these Moto or Razor tours, or what are
Moto? We're looking at probably doing some Razor tours here in the future. So I got to pipe down. Don't talk too much, Renner. Pinch myself right now. No, but future's looking good. Like you just come across those people sometimes that you connect with real well, and
yeah.
The way we won't get onto this topic, but the way America is right now, it's like not the worst feeling to get up out of here every once in a while.
Oh, we're gonna go there.
Get a breath of fresh air.
Could you live
so
there?
Basically, what's happening right now is Ronnie is planning his scenario given one of two situations come November.
Yeah.
He's got to have his backup plan for his family.
Everybody else says they're going to Canada.
I'm going to Costa Rica.
I'm going south. Baja, something.
Dude, I don't know, man. This place scares me sometimes, but I've can imagine living down there. You'd get kind of bored.
I have
and whatever.
some friends and friends' family and friends of friends that live there, so you could totally live there. I haven't been there yet, but I very much want to check it out. You could live there?
Yeah, it's not third world. There's like in that area and in the Jaco Beach area, there's like 3 or 4 motocross tracks. It gets freshly watered every day. Some days might be a little too watered, but it's not like crazy third world like some people. I brought my filmer Tristan Twisselman down there this year.
Wait a second.
I wasn't.
Say that again.
Whoa.
Tristan Twisselman. Twist Air Cinema.
You can't write this.
That was kind of a plug for his business if you didn't notice. So tack me one more down.
Check the box. One more plug.
And he had never really been out of the country. And you could just tell he was scared, or not scared, but nervous, like had his eyes in the back of his head going on. And he's like, wow, this is just nice, man. People, the quality of life is elevated times 100 than it is here. Cell phone don't work quite like it does. There's not Wi-Fi every 2 feet.
Good.
And that makes life better?
Could you believe it?
I'm tripping right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was searching for it on quite a few occasions, but I could easily break that habit for sure. And, having kids and this and that, I want them to see the world. They've been, had the opportunity to travel to Spain, and Chloe's been to Argentina. They've been to quite a few places. And that's one of the spots where I could see us like spending a lot more time. I would never like move there full on. I mean, I'm proud to be an American. It's just
hoorah.
Yeah, it's just we got a pretty awesome country and a lot of perks and a lot of great things here.
Yeah.
Just a squirrely government sometimes.
Yeah.
Rainforests
all
and
the
beaches are cool, though. Just saying.
Yeah,
They are.
I like pina coladas.
It's also cool to live in
Making love at
America,
midnight. What?
Make 19 million and be mad at the people that paid you.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the thing.
so-
Down there, you don't need 19 million. You just need enough to survive and be happy, and you're not stressing on
Got
money.
him.
Got him.
Colin.
Okay, so X Fighters, are they coming back?
Yeah, at least once a year.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know the answers. Everybody thinks that I would, but I just show up when they tell me, and I would hope to see more because I've been really fortunate to get to see a lot of awesome places on this planet because of them.
Man,
And
you
I
get to go to all those, and it is the red carpet treatment. You realize you're not supposed to get treated like that everywhere you go.
No, it's gonna make
You
real
can't even
vacations.
vacation and go like that.
Well, I'm gonna be the most screwed person when I got to do real vacations down the way.
Seriously?
Because you've been on some of those trips. You get pampered pretty well, picked up from the airport, hotels, and we're not eating 5-star dinners, but we're they're decent.
You're getting fed well. Everything's
you're getting
private.
fed.
Everything's escorted. Everything's like custom. Everybody's catering to your needs.
Yeah,
It's really out of this world.
yeah. It's gonna be a hard one to swallow when I gotta flip bills on regular vacations for a family of 6.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
6 so far.
that I know of. Yeah. What if some start popping up out of the woodwork?
Yeah, well, what about more? I mean,
You got a machete? We can handle this right now.
so that's it.
Philip Rivers has 8. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think I'm done.
Think you're done?
Yeah, practicing from here on out.
For what?
You never be too out of practice.
Right.
Just to stay in the game.
No, I guess you can be too out of practice. You can never be too practiced.
You heard it right there from the champ himself. But I hear you don't even practice. I mean, that's one of the stories. It's funny, X Games. Get some new stories. Okay. I've been watching this thing for 15 years or however long it's been going on. And one of the big stories is always Ronnie Renner doesn't even practice for this event.
That one bit me this year. It looks awesome when I win. Like, oh, that's killer. He didn't even practice. No, I don't try to beat my back up too much on it. And I just realize when you get to the big show, it's always different than what you practiced. So it's a simple way to put it. I know what to prepare for. This year, what I showed up to was like my worst case scenario for the lip.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't adapt the way I needed. Like I said, I couldn't shape the thing how I would want to be comfortable. And once I got it close enough, everybody kind of discovered that I made it better because nobody was really happy with the lip. I mean,
yeah,
I think Jared and Libor were at the end because they got it, but I don't think they were at their most comfortable level either. I walked up and I said, oh, this one's not going over 33 feet.
Yeah.
And that's what the contest went to.
But isn't that kind of intentional? They're trying to bring they were a little scared at the record you set, really, I think.
No, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think they're trying to make it go that high.
The year that I set the record, I mean, it is what it is. I don't think it was a very legit setup as far as rules go because they made the takeoff was like probably 2 or 3 feet higher than it normally is, and the transition was phenomenal. Like this one had a really tight transition at the bottom, which G'd out your suspension, and then you just unloaded with nothing to kick you off the top. So it made you loop out.
Right.
And that year was just the most mega takeoff. And when you make a wider or longer transition,
you can just power through
the
it.
starting point is 25 feet, which it was legit at that X Games. But when you have a big transition, the starting point is at the start of the tranny. So when you got a longer transition, you're going to get a longer runway. So this one, they measure from a tight transition.
So by the time you hit vertical, you've actually gone 30 feet versus in this case, by the time you've gone vertical, you've only gone 26 feet.
You had a lot of real estate to get.
Yeah.
some traction on.
And
you
that
know.
makes a huge difference.
Staple center dirt was like spot on always. Barely got blue grooved out.
Which
this
is
one,
why I used to think like you would come at that angle, because at an angle you actually had more real estate than you did straight.
yeah, you probably gather a few more inches, but that was just for comfort, you know. I felt more comfortable catching an angle and just leaning into it and pretending I was in the hills.
Yeah.
And it's funny, and I tell Garth Milan this every time I see him. Like, I really try to mind trick myself that I'm just out there doing a photo shoot with him and trying to go bigger every time. This one couldn't do that. I was scared to death that I was going to crash because I knew I was going to loop out. And your brain has a funny way of, no matter if your attitude is I'm either going to win or crash, and when you know you're probably going to crash, your brain won't let you twist the throttle. It just don't happen.
So
Did you
uneasy
throw
the
away
whole
once?
time.
I crashed on my last jump, and I knew if I hit it harder, I probably would have crashed worse.
Yep.
You just feel it when you're going to the lip and you can see it, and you're like, oh man, this isn't right. But got a little too looped out and lost the back end when you landed. They made the landing nice and steep last year. The landing was flatter than a pancake. What can I say? Am I in trouble? So I need to leave.
It's all good. It's all good. Carry
Flatter
on.
than pancake tit. Said it again. Am I gonna get
The
in trouble?
Florida in him, just he can't help it.
Man. No, it was just super flat, and it was like really painful. So I was like, man, you got to make that landing steeper. Well, they did. Well, that's great when you have control of your bike. When you're out of control, I mean, you saw Axel, who's one of the most talented riders I know of. He got looped out on the thing, and he lost it. So kind of gives a testament to how hard it was to control the bike.
Yeah.
So, win some, you lose some, right?
Red Bull always does these crazy things. We just saw this amazing thing they did with Menzies and with partnership with Pennzoil with that big Wild West jump and that record setting. Congratulations to them for doing that. That was awesome.
Huge.
You know, they've done some crazy stuff with Matto and whatnot, and they've done some amazing stuff with you with the quarter pipe. And any thoughts of revisiting some stuff with those guys? I
have a little ideas. I don't think too huge like Matto does. I mean, he's kind of made his he's won X Fighters and all that. I'm not trying to say he's just made his living off of that, but it's definitely been that's the iconic part of his program, you know, is those big hits that he's done, and obviously big things like the Wave. I have a couple ideas. I'm not going to talk about them because I don't want somebody else poaching on them. But I don't know if that's the direction Red Bull's fully going right now. I always think Red Bull would be my first pick to bring them along on ideas like that.
Sure.
But I've never tried to set myself up as like a stuntman or anything like that.
Well, for a while you were doing that quarter pipe thing.
Yeah, the quarter pipes were
did
cool.
in Chicago, I think.
And rumor has it I might have to revisit that because I guess Brian McCarty might have broken the record on a setup.
Apparently he went pretty big on a pretty big setup.
Yeah. I mean, that's the fun. At the end of the day, a number is a number. If he went higher than 63 feet, no matter what size ramps it was on, anything, you have to give the credit for that. But
not taking credit away.
I also have
because he also went straight far and backflipped and got super gnarly.
That On the Pipe movie is going to be rad.
Yeah.
On the Pipe 7 coming out in November. No,
Schweitzer, brought to you by Schweitzer. Schweitzer Entertainment.
Can we count that one? I'm not even in the movie, but I had to get another plug in.
How are you not in the movie? Come on.
He gave me offers. I just don't know that I have time to give him something of the caliber he's going to want. He's doing some pretty epic stuff with it.
Fair enough.
But no, I'm at that point. Like, I'm 39 years old. Nobody really did anything with my quarter pipe record before. Do I kind of put my ego aside and say, you know what, if they want it, or do I open up that can of worms? I don't know. We'll see. I'm like truly just speaking freely right now. I don't know if I want to touch that or not. It's
free speaking.
Yeah.
I mean, you could set
it doesn't cost a thing.
You could set the Razor quarter pipe record.
Keeping it real costs 0 cents.
You could put one of those water machines, Matto water machines, on a razor wheel and see what you can do out in the ocean with one of those bad boys.
God, I bet I could sink it.
I bet you could.
$100 on it. I don't know, man. That's all cool, and you know that's just the nature of the beast. You got to have some kind of it, and I don't use the word gimmick like a joke. Like you got to have some kind of shtick to kind of get your recognition. And I think I said at the beginning of the show, you're only as good as your last trick or your last contest.
Well, you got into the snow bike thing, and you're open to those kind of progressive concepts.
Yeah, it's like Obscure Sports Quarterly. I'm like a proud member.
Totally.
ESPN 8 the Ocho. I could probably get a show on ESPN 8 the Ocho for sure.
Love it.
But I don't know, there's just something about doing stuff that's unique. It's not stubborn pride or anything. I just don't like doing stuff that's the norm. It's harder to get support with it. You always, to get recognition with it, you have to just outpiss somebody.
Yeah.
I want to do things because they're fun and because I love it, not because it's the cool thing to do or it's the end thing to do. Like when I saw those timber sleds, I was like, dude, I got to try that.
Sure.
And the guys got me up there, and it was just somehow at the right point in time to where the things were evolving like rapidly. They just got bought out by Polaris the next year.
Yeah.
Red Bull's all about it. I got all the support, people backing me. Like, it's cool, and that's how it was with mountain biking with me. Like, I got into downhill right at the time that all of a sudden these sick bike parks were getting built, and I got support from GT bicycles.
Yeah. You're like, sweet.
That was just getting
another plug.
Yeah. Come on, you got to
I
checklist.
I was gonna look back. I wasn't even gonna try to collect them in the moment. I was gonna come back and.
Well, Michelle asked me on the way down here. She's like, "Well, what are you going down to promote?" I'm like, "I'm not promoting nothing, but I just want to be on the show and hang out with the guys."
He just breaks out a list.
I might as well plug all my sponsors.
Dead Sea Scrolls.
I wouldn't be doing all this crazy stuff if it wasn't for great sponsors. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
No doubt about that, and they wouldn't be great sponsors if there weren't people like you to do all this stuff.
I'd be back in the trailer park in Florida doing carny shows. Yeah, I mean, making my couple $100 a week. So sponsors would make it all go around.
Have you seen some other sports that you think are too gnarly? Like for you, if I were to say like the wingsuit stuff, or the guys that take the kayaks off the crazy waterfalls. Have you seen that stuff?
I had an offer from a guy saw the Costa Rica stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot his name. He's on Instagram, and he's like, "Hey, we could collaborate, and I could show you some wicked stuff, and have you going off cliffs in a kayak." I'm like, "Oh my god, man!"
Could you imagine that?
I think what is it? Rafa, the guy, Red Bull guy, has the most epic images. Like, I couldn't imagine that.
Right.
You just hit two of the sports right there that I want nothing to do with. I don't need a wingsuit. I'm saving skydiving for when I get older. I'm going to golf and stuff now and then do all the gnarly stuff when I'm older, because like going from freestyle and roosting up cars, what are you going to do when you get older?
Right.
It's going to, keep the heart beating.
Seriously.
Yeah. I don't know. Wingsuit. Might be in a wingsuit when I'm like 90. We'll see.
I don't know. Those things are radical, but.
Could be the coup de grace right there.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, and your kids are going to be starting to step off some cliffs here soon. And Nate obviously is going off and beginning to really come into his own as a rider. How do you deal with now being the dad in that situation?
Just number one, just be a dad. And, it's something that I would love to pass on to people that are listening, or any parents. I think there's a real disconnect with parents right now, where they just give their kids everything and never spoon feed them and give them all these tools, and they don't seem to appreciate it or learn life. But you just got to be a dad, Dad number one. I'm raising a kid to be a man,
first and foremost.
Not raising a bicycle rider, you know.
I like
and that. I like the fact that he's got a passion and he's got something that keeps him away from all the garbage in school and what most kids are dealing with.
Yep.
And something you guys can share.
And yeah, on the selfish side of things, it's something that's keeping me from getting burned out on riding dirt bikes and too, over-focused or even oversaturated on my program. It's relevant enough where I'm comfortable. The egos aside, I'm not trying to be like, I think people see it and they're like, "Oh, is Renner going to backflip a bike too? Or is he going to do ramp?" Like, no, it's not even an age thing. Like, I just want to enjoy riding a bike, and I really enjoy going and chasing my kid down the hill. And that's the coolest thing about life. And I think it's not to get too philosophical, but it's like the purpose of life. When I watch my kid, when I'm passing stuff on to my kids and watching them enjoy it, I'm like, man, I can die happy right now knowing that they're on the right track to doing cool things. It's a great feeling.
Let's talk about Real Moto real quick. Who impressed you with that? What did you like seeing?
I liked all of them. I mean, I can't deny it. Last year, there were a couple that we got. Well, the riders and filmers voted, so we had to scrutinize everything a little tighter and fine-tooth comb it. And I think Hagelstein, it was a crazy deal that went down where last minute they took him. He was my filmer last year, and they gave him an offer to do his own part, which well played because he's a great rider.
He is a great rider.
I'm like one of his biggest fans.
Yeah.
So when we had the talk, I was like, dude, if you don't take the opportunity, I'm going to smack you upside the head, So I'm stoked for him. I think his video was great, and I think it was exactly what embodies free riding and the Real Moto original concept that I know of. And I don't even want to say
Did he shoot his own video?
Yeah, I mean, I
like
think
set the camera in place and then went and rode the part.
this is where a place where I can speak freely, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
Free speaking.
I know he had help with setup and logistics and all that, and they sold it on the TV show. Like he was all on his own out there the whole way, and I thought that was like just taking it over the top.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, meat and potatoes, he had the best video. I think his riding was on point. The cinematography was cool. The locations were cool. The variety was there. Like there was just all the elements that I look for in a video, and it's not because it's a buddy or this or that. I just really think he had what it took. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you got the usual suspects, Twitch, who's going to put out a banger because he's one of the most naturally talented riders. Axel Hodges, another one that's you just know he's a phenomenal rider. He's got some good support in the film world with his brother and everything.
Yeah.
Clinton Moore coming from Australia. He was in the middle of prepping for X Fighters.
I think the world of Clinton. I mean, I really like Clinton a lot. But he wasn't my favorite video. It was done by a company that I felt like was just too pro about it and a little less like core about it.
Yeah, I think it embodied his program really well, and it like was, man, that's a great promo piece for himself.
No doubt about that.
Shows the nitty and the gritty and talks about the sacrifices. But I
love that part too. But
I felt as far as a competition, it's almost like they were trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Like with the voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
Who else do we got there? We got, I said Twitch, Hog. Oh God, Chris Foster, who we knew was going to put out a ripping video. It's kind of weird too when you know things with social media. We knew he had a broken foot because he was filming for Moto. The next, I think Moto 7 are they coming out with? Moto 8. Moto 8 I think is coming. And I knew that he had broke his foot. I'm like, man, is he even going to get a video out? So the piece he put together was pretty rad, being that he was hurt. He had some really great. The kid can ride a bike, man. He comes up with some creative stuff.
I mean, the one he dropped on his own, where he just was backflipping in the hills.
Yeah,
and
his
like,
original. That's what kind of put him on the map.
To me, that's still like was such a game changer of a video.
Yeah, and you know, I could say things I liked, things I didn't like.
Sure.
But they were all great videos, man. I'm glad I didn't have to sit there and judge because it would have been a tough one to.
So how
pick
did
my
it come out?
favorites.
How did the?
I just know. I think top threes. So you had the judged voting, which was for the medal and everything. It was Hagelstein, Chris Foster, and then I got third. And then the fan voting was Axel, Twitch. I think Hog got third. I think no, maybe not. I think Foster I think got third actually, maybe. Yeah, it was a close one, whatever the case. Yeah, the fan vote thing's just weird to me. It's cool and it is what it is. We know what we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
And that's what it's a numbers game more than anything, but that's what people like. That's what people like, and I'm not going to overthink it. I knew what counted, and that's what to go for. I didn't worry about the social media thing. I actually told everybody on mine, and maybe it's because I wasn't fully satisfied with the riding in mine, but I just said, hey, click the link, vote for your favorite. I didn't say vote for mine or vote for me. Like, I don't know. I want it to be fair like that. That's how I've always been with Best Whip at X Games.
Well, Best Whip at X Games has been fair every single year.
Sure. Sure.
We've been sitting here live with one of our favorites, Ronnie Renner, and it has been awesome to have you. And I think we are about to wrap things up. Is that
Yes,
the wink I'm
yes.
getting over here? So, but
No,
before
I just think you're hot.
before we let him go, would you just take a minute and plug your sponsors for us? We just like to
I
give you
already
that
did.
opportunity.
I better do it before I'm the cream filling in this Oreo cookie right here. Dang.
It's getting hot
Plug
in
the sponsors.
here.
Where do we start? Let me get my list out.
Well, dude, thanks for coming down and hanging with us again, man. It's
Wait,
been, been a while. Do it.
Thank you. Can I do the thing that they always do at Supercross and I laugh? I can't thank so-and-so.
Oh, please
and
do
they never
this.
say enough. They just say, I can't thank them. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to thank them?
Man, I bet we could break out some videos and have some real fun actually pointing out some of those comments that are made on that podium right there.
It's gotten so bad. You think you could correct it like on Instagram or something, but I've seen it happen where people are typing.
Yeah.
I just want to see podium speeches that are more conversational. You know what I mean? That are more like you're just sharing your feelings, some emotion, not robotic.
You usually get that with the guys that haven't been on the podium before, but
yeah,
a lot of those guys are on the podium. Like
and
every
now it's
time.
like hit the list. Okay.
Yep.
Well, hey,
People
dude,
live.
come back and see you soon, man, and good luck. And
Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll
keeping
do.
an eye out.
It only takes an invite. I haven't turned you guys down yet.
Nope.
Fair enough. Fair enough. He
True.
did turn us down once, but he was, to his credit, he was already en route to X Games.
He doesn't forget. Ronnie Renner, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with a lot more Action Sports Show. Don't go anywhere. See you next time.
They gon' rock your brain, ruin your good name, take money for your shame, and we're wrong, entertain, what can you do?
Catch the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota of Escondido Tuesdays, 6:30 p.m. right here on ESPN 1700, featuring Jim Holthus, the host, the agent Dan McGranahan. Get fired up by amazing guests from the world of action sports, such as Supercross star Cooper Webb, UFC title contender Dominic Cruz, FMX superstar Robbie Madison, surfer Tori Meister, musician Graham Nancaro, and more. The Action Sports Show brings you the biggest names in the action sports world. Tune in every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. right here on ESPN 1700.
This is Shannon Campbell.
Hi, this is Walker Evans.
Big Daddy here. This is Jeremy McGrath.
Hello, this is Jay Leno.
This is Mario Andretti. This is Carl Renner. This is Rick Dale with Rick's Restorations. This is Paul Tracy.
Hey, this is Sonny Garcia.
This is Trigger Gum, Daredevil. My name is Paul Thacker.
Robbie Gordon here. This is Ryan Arciero of Arciero Miller Racing.
I'm Ryan Friedlinghouse, CEO of West Coast Customs.
This is Kerry Hart.
Hey, I'm Tanner Faust.
Travis Pastrana here from Nitro Circuit, and you're listening to the Action Sports Show.
You're on, guys.
Hey, welcome back to the Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido Action Sports. Just over halfway through. Jim Holthus, Dan McGranahan. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is your one-stop shop each and every week for anything and everything in the action sports world. So without any further ado, Dan, talk about our next great guest that we're super stoked to have here.
And we are super, super stoked to have the Road to Recovery Foundation here with us in studio. These guys do some of the most amazing work in the action sports genres, surf, moto, skate, wake. We're going to get into the details of all that, but they're great people. They come from that world. They live in that world, and they care for that world, and we care for them. And so we are very excited to have them here. So Jimmy Button, Lori Amstutz. Did I say it right? You have to fix me. Amstutz. Yeah. He just told me.
He throws R's into everything.
My maiden name is Armistead, so.
Whoa.
Cool.
Dude, I was on point.
Yeah, you just merged the two.
And the Queen, Anita Button. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, we're happy to have you guys. And a little about you guys is that you are an organization that is specifically geared toward helping riders that find themselves in, would you use the word catastrophic need? Like, what's the proper term for that?
The only clarity I would say is not just riders, but athletes.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Because, originally the Road to Recovery was founded for motocross, supercross.
Yep.
But then, in the last couple of years, we've kind of branched out so that we could cover all forms of action sports. So riders, boarders, whatnot.
Athletes.
Athletes.
And even announcers.
Yes, or Ron.
Yep. So you guys are doing so much amazing stuff, and I've always thought the world of you guys and the way you carried yourself and why you did what you did and do what you do. And I'm excited to see what feels to me like growth and expansion in an area that is so needed. I mean, you must feel like you cannot really do enough for the need. That's got to be a little bit of an overwhelming feeling being an organization like yours, because you can only you work within your means, of course, but and the need is significant. But you guys don't let that hold you back, and you still dive in with both feet, and it's really impressive. So
thank you.
I thought maybe we'd do a just a quick story on Jimmy and where he comes from and sort of the original motivation behind how this whole thing got started. And so Jimmy, an Arizona guy that was one of the top motocross, supercross racers in the world.
Thank you.
And entertained a lot of us all over, and had a fateful accident in the whoops in San Diego, I believe, correct?
Good old Qualcomm Stadium.
Qualcomm Stadium bit. And it was a sound heard around the world, actually, for people that followed the sport. was a very shocking thing to watch and experience, and of course, mostly for you and your family.
Yeah.
And that was how long ago now?
16 years.
16 years ago.
January of 2000. So long time.
Long time ago. Well,
Long time.
you got carted off in an ambulance, and the word at that point was they didn't know what was going to happen, if you were ever going to walk again or anything like that.
Yeah, and I think that that's something that happens, in general. We dealt with that over the last couple of weeks with Jesse Nelson's injury. Actually, when a big injury like that happens, there's obviously the internet and social media and everything is so much bigger and quicker than it was. Obviously, when I got hurt, I mean, the internet had basically just started in 2000 for the most part, and people were just logging on basically.
We were listening to the dial-up sound.
Yeah.
We were all on AOL chat.
Yeah, you've got mail. And so, even back then, things, people were getting misinformation and whatnot, and I think that that's happened quite a bit. I saw, because I jumped, when I got the phone call, I jumped online to check it out because I didn't know who actually had gone down and, whether I'd been red flagged and whatnot. So, people are reading automatically, oh, he's just got a pinched nerve, he's going to be fine, he's going to walk again. And I'm getting other phone calls because it seems like I'm one of the first people that always gets a phone call when this stuff sort of happens, which is great and sucks all at the same time. But
is a heavy burden. It seems like you carry it with
it
respect to
it isn't because when I got hurt, I don't think anybody of like my stature had been hurt since David maybe was probably the last, call it top 5, top 10 guy that had been hurt.
Premier guy.
Yeah. And so, when that happened, people came out of the woodwork for me, with money, with knowledge, with support, everything, right? So emotional, financial, spiritual, everybody was there for me and for my family. And obviously I didn't have children then, I do now. I can't imagine what hell I put her through, my dad through, and my now wife, then girlfriend through. But, it was people gave more than they needed to, and they did more, and they were there for me. And I remember people coming into the hospital room, whether it was in San Diego or when they got me to the rehab facility in Arizona, and just being there for me and letting me see, like there's a pathway, I can get there if I'm fortunate and blessed and all these other things, which I was. And so to pay that forward is what you have to do. Those people didn't do it to get anything out of it. They were doing it just to help, to give me inspiration. And so we have to do that for all these kids. I mean, because, Jesse just got hurt, and I pray that he does have a recovery. We still don't know how that's going to play itself out, but it might happen again this weekend. It might not happen for a year, but it's going to continue to happen. I mean, this is a dangerous sport, and I've gotten a lot of weird emails from people that are really pissed off about, oh, the track was too rough, it's this, it's that. I mean, come on, man. This is dirt bike racing.
Yeah.
And these are the baddest dudes in the world. And so they can ride rough tracks, It's we don't need to can I curse on here? Is that possible?
Well, it's not encouraged, but if it happens, just slide past it.
We
don't make a point out of it, because the radio we are on terrestrial radio. It's
he means no.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
no.
it's
fair enough.
People have
opinions.
They want to make everything easy.
You're talking about the sissification of America?
Sissification.
Sissa, that's the word we used instead of the word you were thinking of.
Okay. I was trying to figure out what that was. So you know what I wanted to say. But anyway, that's like, they're the best in the world, so they need to ride the roughest tracks and all these things. So don't worry about that. I mean, I don't know. I get frustrated.
That doesn't mean that a promoter can't do something stupid. Of course,
absolutely,
stupid stuff can happen.
Absolutely.
You could put a big cement block on the side of a track and outside of a corner, somewhere it really shouldn't be. But that's not what we're talking about here. No. And that's not what caused this situation at all. And
it's generally freak accidents that make these things happen, you know. And
Yeah.
if you watch Jesse's crash, it doesn't look spectacular.
Well, that's the other thing.
Neither was mine. But if you look at his crash, he stopped.
Yeah.
And when you don't tumble and you go from 30 miles
All
an
the
hour
energy.
to zero in
Yeah.
10 feet,
Yeah.
the energy is going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Has to.
Yeah. That's just the reality of it. And these guys even know how to fall. I mean, they know how to tumble, and certainly he didn't not tumble on purpose, of course, but unique circumstances all come together, and it creates a situation where you just don't have the leverage to tumble, and you end up in that scenario. And it is so often the like, oh man, I was trying to triple backflip and I had to throw it away and I walked away from it. But then, but then my brother was out riding and tipped over in a corner and passed away. To represent Sheenie's story or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's not always the craziest things that this happens with. It's actually often more of the day-to-day things.
I mean, I know so many times I've crashed. I mean, I remember a crash I had on a mini bike at Huron Cycle Park where David Bailey got hurt, actually. And I remember getting up going, my God, that was
gnarly.
That was gnarly.
How am I standing here? Full
I'm totally
inventory
fine.
check.
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Bike's destroyed. And yet, when I crashed, I basically tipped over going 2 miles an hour, and there I was. I mean, so it just doesn't matter. I mean, it's a situation where a lot of bad things come together at the wrong time, wrong place, wrong angle, wrong speed, and catastrophic circumstances.
One of the things I like about your story is that while your life changed forever from that point, you still have a very amazing life. You have an amazing job, an amazing family. You're a dad that is absolutely in love with his kids, and you're passionate about our country and all sorts of things and helping people. So I think that's a testament to a lot of these people that find themselves in this situation and are facing what might seem like a insurmountable mountain.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier before the show got started. I mean, it's a good sport. It's a family-based sport. It's a blue-collared sport, basically, and you have good families and good people involved for the most part. There's always bad seeds everywhere, but for the most part, I mean, all the whole motorcycle community is a great one. And whether that's on-road, off-road, Harleys or dirt bikes or whatever, I mean, it's a pretty close-knit community that cares and takes care of one another. And I would say that with the action sports as well. And I'm also involved in four-wheel auto racing with some of my clients and whatnot. And when it boils down to it, it's a really small community of motorsports in a general sense. And people do look out for each other. And you see it, unfortunately, you see it in the toughest of times when there's always been, something terrible to happen. Everybody tears those fences down and those walls that are put up for whatever reasons, and everybody comes together and fights for the betterment of whoever needs the help.
Yeah. How much time we got left before the first commercial?
We're past it.
Okay, we're gonna run a commercial. We're gonna come back and a few more minutes with Jimmy, and then let's get into some of the people that the foundation is focusing on and how they're focusing on them, and maybe let you ladies speak a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Hello, folks. The Action Sports Show, powered by Toyota Escondido. We'll be right back.
Ain't a rock show brain. Ruin your good name. Take money for your shame. And we're wrong, it's entertained. What can you do?
Hi, folks. Jim here. And I want to talk to you about Slime Tire Sealant. Racers in all classes of motorcycles, ATV, bugs, cars, trucks are using Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flats, including pre-runners. Smart teams are even using slime inside their trailer tires, too. I mean, how many tires do you have? Think about it. Do you have motorcycles, ATVs, cars, trucks, trailers, wheelbarrows, motors, and bikes? How many flats have you had in the last year? Maybe the answer is none. Maybe you're due for one. How much time and money can flat tires cost you? How about just the peace of mind? Nobody likes flat tires at all. Just pre-install Slime Tire Sealant to prevent flat tires. Slime is a liquid tire sealant that easily installs after taking out the valve core of the tire with the tool provided. Once inside, slime seeks out and seals punctures instantly and repeatedly and is guaranteed for 2 years. Slime is non-toxic, non-combustible, water soluble, and does not void tires' warranties, unlike that other stuff in the can. Go for slime in the gallon for all your off-road tires. If it isn't green, it isn't slime. Put trust in your tires. Slime, there's no stopping you.
One name you should know, best place you can go, Toyota of Escondido.
It's true. The best new cars make the best used cars. And Toyota of Escondido is once again #1 in Toyota certified used cars and trucks. Feel confident driving with the peace of mind of a 160-point inspection and Carfax report.
Toyota of Escondido. Toyota of Escondido.
You also get a 12-month or 12,000-mile comprehensive warranty from certified purchase date, plus a 7-year or 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty from original date of sale when new. Please ask for complete warranty details. Toyota certified sales leader for San Diego County for 2014.
Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Brother Toymeister coming at you live from the Action Sports Show. Come check us out. You better like them, man. Yeep, doggy.
You're on, guys.
Folks, welcome back to the Action Sports Show powered by Toyota Escondido. Jim Holthus, Dan McGranahan. Dan, can you explain what Tori just said?
He said, "You better like them, beat them up good."
Okay, that's what I thought he said. Just wanted to clarify.
Yes, he's just telling us that the waves are good. In Pigeon.
Yes.
Yes. Which is my second language. A lot of people don't know that. Studied it in school.
Sweet.
Yep, a year of immersion, Hawaiian immersion. Teach you some good pigeon. Okay, where were we? We were talking about some of the stuff that Jimmy's done, and one of the things I wanted to talk about is that number that is on your forum there, 2475. And there was a time in your life where you were deciding that you were going to ride a bicycle for a very long ways, kind of like how Forrest Gump ran. Well, Jimmy rode.
We had some shirts that said "Ride Jimmy Ride."
Did you really?
With a smiley face. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I was. So this goes back to, because I did the ride in 2011. I'd say it's the end of 2009. I was sitting on the couch. So this is 9 years after my injury, and I was watching something on 60 Minutes or one of those kind of news shows or whatnot, and I got the idea that, maybe I should do something, here I am, I got this second chance to walk and use my body and all this great thing. So I'm like, well, what if I rode across the United States on a bicycle and raised money for spinal cord research? Stupid idea, clearly. And so I called my old trainer, Corey Wharf, who had been my trainer before I got hurt, stayed with me through my rehab. And I asked him, I said, hey, do you think I could do this? And he said, yeah, you could do it. It's going to take you probably a year. And I hadn't been on a bicycle since I got hurt. So.
All right.
Yeah, real smart. And Corey's like, yeah, you could totally do it. I said, well, if I do this, will you do it with me? He said, yeah, no, sure. No problem. We'll do it together. Fully thinking that I was 100% full of it and I wasn't going to go through it. So the next day I started this whole process of training for it and whatnot. And it was slow. It was very slow in the beginning, but I ended up getting there. And then, a year and a half later or whatever it was, 14, 15 months, something like that. We started the ride from Qualcomm where I got hurt,
right?
And we rode to Daytona. And yeah, it was hard as hell, and it was super enjoyable at times, and it was miserable at other times. But I tell you what, turning onto on the road right there, I forget the name of the road, where you see the speedway and it says "Welcome to Daytona," it was the coolest.
Yeah.
It was the coolest feeling ever, knowing that you just rode your bike all the way across the U.S. and we raised a lot of money. We raised $250,000 for spinal cord research, which was super cool. And
I feel like I donated to that.
Yeah, I think everybody around here probably did. But it was awesome, and it was a great thing. And I remember being like, oh my God, I want to throw this bicycle away. I'm over it. I'm never riding again. And literally 2 days later, I'm like, I could start all over and just do the whole thing over again. It was so much fun. Like after going back and reflecting on it, it was really, really cool. So
sometimes in the middle of it, you don't realize how much fun you're having, and then it's over and it settles, and you're just like, wow.
The cool thing about it for me though was, when you're a motocross rider or you're any sort of professional athlete, your life is very one dimensional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you wake up, you eat, you train, you go practice, you train, you eat, you get massage, you have a touch of fun, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it all over again, and you have one goal, one focus, one everything. And when you're in business, I mean, like most people know, like you wake up, you got to worry about your house, you got to worry about your kids, you worry about your job, making your boss happy, this, that. You got all this garbage going around your head, and you don't really ever get to really focus on just one solitary thing. And it was cool for me because I hadn't had that feeling in a long time that nothing else mattered.
Yeah.
I could just focus on getting up every morning, eating, putting my sore butt back on the seat, and pedaling away. And it was really, really cool. And I wish I could do it every single day, but that's just not reality.
So someday you may attempt something wild like that again?
Yeah, I mean, I rode across Europe in 2012.
You did,
which is pretty cool. So Jamie Job,
sure.
motocross guy, he called me and said, "Hey, let's do this ride from like 150 miles north of London to Misano for the MotoGP race." So it was Glenn Helen, and I was managing Blake Baggett at the time, and Blake was winning the championship. And he literally, like, I watched him go across the finish line for the second moto. He wins the title. I get in my car and drive to LAX, fly to London. Some guy picks me up that I've never met.
Yeah,
drives me to like a street corner.
Now you're on an adventure.
I build my bike. Wait for them to show up because my flight was late, so I didn't get to start with them. So I had to meet them like 40 miles away at like 11:30 at night, and we got on my bike and we kept riding. And we only stopped one time for like 6 hours at the base of the Alps, and we made it 1,300 miles in I think like 68 hours or something like that. It was completely stupid and psychotic, but so I did that ride too, and I've kind of slowed it down from them because then we had a little baby boy, Phoenix, who's 5 now, and I had to be a little bit more time efficient. You might say.
I see your Phoenix post. It's Phoenix's world.
Yes.
You didn't know that. So we're just living in it.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. It's amazing to see you going through that. I'm such a proud dad.
I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Very blessed. Got a good wife, got a good family, and I got 2 cool kids, which is it's awesome.
Yeah. So we're going to do a show. So we're going to get Jimmy in to do a show on Jimmy because there's so much to talk about, all the racing and whatnot. But we don't want to miss what we're really here to talk about, and that's Road to Recovery and the people that you're working with right now, and the different programs that you have going on, and with this new transition out of just motocross, supercross, but into action sports in general, and some of the ancillary components and people that are involved within action sports. And so can I fire some questions at you? Would that be okay?
Go for it.
Make some introductions.
Well, we can definitely do that. So I don't know how your guys' titles go. So Anita, I know you as the face of Road to Recovery for the past maybe 8 years or something like that. How long it's been going on?
Yeah, it'll be, I think, 9 years, and we've already passed July, haven't we? Yeah, it was 9 years in July.
So for 9 years, you have been the face of this thing, and to my knowledge, I don't know the back end workings how it went.
Let me add a little. I'll add a little color.
Yeah.
So we started the foundation after I got hurt. Myself, Bob Moore, Bob Walker. We went to dinner in Scottsdale. I was still in a wheelchair, and we said, "Hey, there's going to be somebody else this is going to happen to. They're not going to be as famous as me. People aren't going to come out and donate a bunch of money or knowledge or whatever it is, and we need to put a community together to take care of that." So we started a foundation, and the beginning of the foundation was very reactive, right? So if someone gets hurt, we all huddle around, make a game plan, and go raise as much money as we could. And
this is pre-Wasserman Media. This is the family days.
This is way back in the days.
The family.
Yeah. And so we would.
Wasn't it called the family?
It was a family.
Yes.
But it was even before that.
Yeah, it was when I had ASM.
Oh, it was Action Sports Management.
way
Yes.
before I sold to Steve.
Yes. Okay.
But anyways, we would just be very reactive, and we would, because all of us have jobs, right? And so we would just get together, call everybody, raise as much money as we could, to give them everything that we made. And the foundation never had money in it. We never had real goals to like grow it and whatnot, because
Sure.
everybody was super busy. And then my mom.
So you three were kind of just running point on it.
Right. And then my mom retired. I think she pretty much got bored a few months after that. So I said, hey, we need to grow the foundation. We need to raise more money. We need to just bring awareness all the time and be out there all the time. So she came on board and started doing that. And since then, we now have a rider endowment with $600,000 in the rider endowment. So when guys get hurt, we can automatically help them.
Yes.
And yes, we do the fundraising and everything else. But so, that's kind of where things have gone. And then, so fast forward another 8 years, and, we collectively as a group are like, hey, we need to take that next step. We're now in action sports. We need to make another big leap forward. And that's when Lori came on, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months?
May.
6, when?
I started in May.
May. Okay. So what's that, 4 months?
Yeah.
Don't make me do math.
Yeah.
Calendar math?
Let's
just call it May.
May.
We'll call it like 3-4 months.
So anyhow, so she's come on. She's been just a fantastic help for us. That's right, because she came on for the golf tournament. So it's been great. And now we have those two working together collectively and just trying to take the foundation to that next level, to that next step. Because, myself and Bob and the rest of the board members, like, we're all so busy with our own jobs and doing all that. And we give as much input and my time and everyone's time. But these two are the ones that are running the show. They're the ones making it happen, day in and day out. And, they're the ones getting beat up by people all the time for their time and what the resources are and everything else. So that's a little background story behind the whole thing. So take it away.
Gotcha. So when I first met you, it was actually at Surfercross, and I was so pumped actually to see that you had someone there helping you, because it kind of was like, this is awesome. This is a sign of like health and life for this amazing organization that does so much good. Because I'm blown away at how much you guys were able to do and how much you were able to do just spinning all those pots by yourself, for so long.
We have some fantastic volunteers that's been with us for a number of years, and I don't know what we'd do without them. And these are people that give their time, they drive themselves. I mean, we have a family that, goes to all the races. They pay their own way. They don't ask for anything. They just want to be there because they believe in what we do.
Yeah.
So, and we've got those all over the country.
Yeah.
So, it's not just me. I mean, they get out there, at all the races and stand for 12 hours a day, for just to help. It's amazing.
I mean, it's not like you guys are getting to go just relax at these crazy events. Like, you guys got to work. Like, you're shaking hands and connecting with people, whether it's at Supercross, which I saw you guys posted up outside of the Monster Zone there, which I thought was awesome. A lot of activity walking through there. At these outdoor races, you're probably standing in the dirt for a lot of the time.
We have a select few outdoors that we go to. The majority of our activations are with Supercross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a great place for you guys to connect. I assume you don't need to be at all the events. It's not necessarily the point. No. Awareness is probably a big part of what you guys do. So do you have a sort of a 5-year plan? Like, what do you want to see this thing become?
We do. Do you mind? Okay, so that's kind of what they brought me on board to kind of project our 5-year, 10-year plan, how we're going to grow the foundation. We run on such a low budget. Anita and I and Aaron are the only ones that are actually on salary. Jimmy and all of our board members dedicate their time and donate their time. So we have to be really fiscally responsible about how we spend our money. And in this day and age, it's really difficult to actually get funds, especially to kind of help with our rider endowment, like Jimmy just spoke about. It only goes to riders who are career ending, and it has to get voted by the board. So it's really important for us to kind of branch out in our industry and into action sports and international to get our name out there so we can start growing our fund. Someone like Jesse Nielsen, who obviously we know is very injured,
Yeah.
he will more than likely, depending on how his recovery goes, be granted an endowment.
Mhm.
We've only had 2 other athletes granted funds from there. Everything else that we do is very, unfortunately, reactionary. When somebody gets hurt, we put up a donation page. We ask, our industry people to help donate.
Yeah.
We would like it to get to the point to where we have enough in that bank where we don't have to constantly reach out to people. And the only way that we'll be able to do that is by education and getting our name out there and letting people know exactly what Road to Recovery really does.
Yeah. Well, when you guys do your fundraising, where does a lot of it come from? Are there just some sort of personal people that, and by the way, as I'm thinking what I'm going to say, this comes to mind, and I just have to say it, and that is, if you make money off of the action sports industry in any capacity and you are not supporting something like this, then you are in the wrong in my book. I think that everybody that is participating in this sport, enjoying it, and it's, feeding your family, and then I think that you should be supporting things like this. And that doesn't mean that you're giving them everything you own, but you should at least be supporting in some capacity. Where does this funding come from?
We're really lucky. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of, and I keep bringing it back to Jesse just because it's on top of mind, his sponsors are getting a lot of hate right now. And you know what? They're stepping up big time. And the majority of the athletes that have been in this situation, their sponsors we have corporate sponsors like Toyota, Wings of Life is helping out. Red Bull is helping out with Jesse, TLD. Our industry is a passion-based industry.
Yeah.
People don't have to do it. They do it because they love this sport.
They should. That's
Exactly.
the right way to do it. Absolutely.
And, we're lucky enough to have a lot of loyal partners, like Feld, like Monster. Though our partnerships with those companies are extremely important for us and extremely important for the athletes that we help. And again, we're lucky to have built those from the very beginning since 2000, and we're branching out and we're looking for non-endemic sponsors because those partnerships and the people that love this sport want to give. Like Cooperstown. So Jesse's family for 2 weeks.
You're talking about the Little League
Yes.
place?
Okay. So he was in the hospital in Cooperstown. 3 different families donated their house for free for them to stay at while he was in the hospital.
Yeah.
It's those people that show the passion and love. I mean, they don't have millions of dollars. They're not a huge corporation. They just
And
saw
they
a
don't even,
need.
and they don't even know him. And Jesse's family said if they went into a restaurant or anything back there, that nobody would let them even pay for anything.
Right.
It just, the whole town just came out to help. It's amazing. And they don't even know them.
Right. That's what our industry was founded, and it's awesome. It kind of restores my faith in humanity when I see things or hear things like that.
What are you guys doing? I'm kind of going all over with you for a little bit, but for an athlete that gets hurt in another country that needs maybe a med jet or something like that, have you guys looked into some stuff like that?
Yeah, we are actually looking into MedJet. We're hopefully putting together a program to offer athletes where they can, it's almost like an insurance or a partnership where we can offer a very discounted yearly fee for MedJet, and it's in the couple of hundreds. And we're in the
Very
process.
reasonable.
Extreme for a year.
Yeah.
Extremely reasonable. Unfortunately, if you don't have a membership with MedJet and you're hurt, it's $10,000 to $30,000 depending on where you are and where you need to go.
Yeah.
Because it's a hospital in the air. So it's not just like first class. I'm jetting in my,
No.
airplane. It's an actual hospital in the air. We're lucky enough to have, in 2014, we branched out international. So we have an international road to recovery division that Jamie Dobbs handles. And so if a rider there gets hurt, he's kind of our pulse and lets us know how we need to handle it.
Yeah. Okay. Are you guys working with some international guys at this point? Has that come across?
Who just flew home? We had one athlete who just flew back to England, correct? I think. But currently not
It doesn't
active.
matter.
Yeah.
just curious, in my personal journey, we've all been part of all these athletes that have hurt themselves. I wish I could tell you how many times I texted Jimmy and said, "Hey, dude, your guy just went down hard. I just want you to know." You know what I mean? From some third world country somewhere, something like that. It happens. And that can be one of the scariest scenarios, is when you're out there. I had a guy crash at X Games in China and, had a brain swelling, couldn't fly, couldn't travel, had to stay there for a long, long time. And thankfully, X Games did a great job of taking care of. They flopped down the credit card and they said whatever needs to happen is going to get taken care of. But what a scary thing, and for the family, and that international thing is. And I'm probably getting off track here, but that's a whole nother animal in itself.
Well, and the international to fly them home is about, it runs between, depending on what country they're in and whatnot, about between 130 and 150,000.
Yeah.
So to get a med jet, I mean, I think everybody should have it. It's one of the things that we're working hard on, to work with the company to get that rate down where, we can offer it. And we would love to be able to just do it for everyone.
Sure.
Right.
Well, I think for people to pay, I mean, if you guys got that and it was available, anybody that's traveling overseas should go ahead and do that. Or if I'm a promoter and I'm bringing over a bunch of guys, I should buy them a med jet for the.
Well, their
as
normal
part of the
rate's like
compensation.
$200 for a single person, $395 for a family. I mean,
Yeah.
that's without the discount.
Yeah, which is also in light of what it can help you with, certainly reasonable.
I think it goes back a little bit to one of the things that we try to do, and that's just, it's education, right? So, not too many people are well equipped to understand what you're going to go through with a spinal injury. A la Jesse or Ernesto or James Marshall, a number of the injuries that we've had, obviously. But just in general, with we've had it many times with other athletes that they're not spinal cord injuries or they're not brain injuries, but they're there are other massive injuries that you can have where you're going to be in the hospital for a while and you're going to have a substantial a medical bill, and it's irregardless of how good your insurance is. And I hear that all the time, like, why don't these guys have insurance? Why are they out there riding dirt bikes with no insurance and blah blah blah? It's like, well, they have insurance, right? It's not about whether they have insurance or they don't have insurance. It's whether or not. And obviously there's some insurances that are better than others, and some people, yes, they buy a $1,200 exhaust pipe for the bike, and they're not spending the most that they could on their personal insurance, whatever. And that's whatever. But in a general sense, yes, they have insurance, and so walking them through that process of, the insurance company saying no to every single claim. Yep. And understanding how to work with the insurance companies, how to get these bills processed and get them paid.
So you guys are actually educating the families, not just about injuries, but about how to manage this process.
It's a path that you have to walk down, and certainly it's not me. I'm an idiot to it, just being honest. But our group, our board, whether it be my mom or Lori or Aaron, who's on the board. Aaron's fantastic. Aaron Cook is fantastic at
who was just here randomly.
Just here. And he's a great encyclopedia of how to walk through the medical, pitfalls that there are for getting the bills paid. And that's a huge part of it,
He did a lot for Stephen Murray.
Yeah. And he actually had started sort of something of this nature, ARF, and he actually was helpful in that story of the guy that was in China. Actually, he stepped up and participated in that.
Yes.
Aaron did, which was awesome, because he was kind of in the action sports world before you guys really took that on, and I think having him as part of that probably helps that.
Well, yeah, we merged the two foundations together.
That's what I was thinking. Something like that must have happened. That was my next kind of question there. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome for you to kind of bring him under your fold, and a guy with a similar passion, and give him a place to put all that passion to work.
And he runs all the action sports side of it and helps kind of. That's where we're branching out to. That's our goal for 2000, or in 5 years, is to what we are now with motocross cross and supercross be that for action sports. And he's done great. I mean, ARF is huge, was huge. We're glad that we were able to partner with them. And I mean, the connections that he's been able to help with Eric Roner,
Yeah.
Live Like Roner, like that shirt, that Hurley shirt is all because of Aaron.
Okay.
And
Wow.
yeah, and we've been able to raise so much money for the Roner family because of the connections that Aaron is able to establish. I mean, it's huge. I think we're in almost $300,000 that we are able to donate to his family.
What a rad guy who's just a hardworking guy that shovels dirt on a track all day long, but yet really is making such a difference. Very unassuming about that. You know, a lot of respect to Aaron. A really awesome guy to have part of your program. You guys are working with Roner, and that's another different scenario. And you're working with Irv Braun, and these are people that have passed away, and so obviously you're helping their families to cope with this transition that they're faced with.
Well, you got to look at like a Roner situation, right? Like he's a professional skydiver.
Yeah.
There is no insurance.
Yeah. Who's going to insure that?
No one
Not even
does.
Lloyd's of
Not
London
even
would
not
insure
even not even Lloyd's will insure a professional skydiver or wingsuit flyer or whatnot. So it's necessary for foundations like ours to be that link for them. You know,
that
and
safety net.
You know, and he had a freak accident. You know, it was super mellow, I guess you would say, in terms of skydiving accidents. But
and his experience was
and he was
complicated skydives.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he was probably one of the top 3 best skydivers in the world.
Right.
And so, you know, we've been able to help his family out, and primarily, you know, his wife and his
two kids,
two kids, right? So, you know, at least we're going to help him help them.
Yeah.
You know, and be what he was providing for them. So
yeah,
it's important. I mean, there's a lot of different aspects of what the road to recovery does, you know, and in the end, everybody does it because there's a need for it. And that we want to give our time and our effort and whatever knowledge that we do have to help people out.
So in a case where there's an injury or an accident, basically it gets submitted, and now and then it gets assessed whether it's really the right fit for you guys to step in and be that support, because that's a lot of effort on your part and it's got to be right.
We have missions and guidelines that we are able to quantify somebody. They have to be a pro athlete.
Okay.
And this is something from Road to Recovery Foundation. We have another website, campaigning site called R2R Fund, and there are no qualifications or regulations. You can go to R2R Fund and get your bike sponsored. You know, you can help peer campaign that way. You can do it if you're not, like, we got a lot of pro athlete or athletes that are not pros, you know, that were maybe racing in Glen Helen and got hurt, and they come to us and they want help, and unfortunately we can't do it because it's not part of our mission, it's not part of our guidelines or our vision. So we have that other outlet for them.
So it's kind of like a GoFundMe that they can activate.
It's just like GoFundMe, but a percentage of the fees that are taken out of the total donation.
Yep.
So like GoFundMe, I think is 30%, and then you get taxed on top of it. Something crazy. Don't quote me. Totally making up numbers right now.
That's what we do here. That's what we do.
A percentage of it actually goes back. The R2R Fund donates back to Road to Recovery, and then we're able to take those funds and help out a cause that we're currently doing, because we have 11 open causes right now.
Yeah, that's dramatic. Is that the most you guys have ever had at one time?
Yes.
Yeah.
By far.
Like Travis Sewell, Cody Schock, Destry Abbott. I mean, those are all, Cody and Travis are both 250 light riders guys, that privateers.
Yeah, you know, as far as the spectrum of
Correct.
success, they're moderate on the journey so far.
Exactly. And so like they don't have a lot of stuff to fall back on.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Cody got hurt in the first moto, and then Jesse got hurt in the second moto.
Oh,
the
really?
same race.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so it was his first race. He's a total privateer first race. And so
Not a fantastic weekend.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative, man. I don't know the extent of his injury.
He had a significant injury, a back injury, and he's been operated on, but he is going to make a full recovery. He fortunately, you know, he fortunately didn't have any sort of spinal cord damage or whatnot. So, you know,
His L1 was broken, and he has a rod and a plate.
Yeah. So from a nervous system standpoint, like he's going to be okay. he's got a road in front of him, but it's a very manageable one.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's got you guys.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. We have to go to another break?
No, the show's over.
No. Show can't be over. We need more time.
Well, then you better call the station and tell them to go over.
Come on. We really didn't have nearly enough time with you guys because I feel like we're like just warming up. So I don't even know what to say. That was an hour?
I guess you got to have us back.
We really, really do. I mean, seriously, that was not enough time. And but let me let you guys close. But let me just tee it up with this. We really support the road recovery, and we hope that you guys will also. We want to be part of your guys' golf tournament sometime. We feel like we can have a hole we call the Heckle Hole, and raise some funds at the Heckle Hole.
We've talked about this before.
But
And,
be advised, you better have thick skin if you roll up to the Heckle Hole because we're not going to hold back.
That would be very good.
Awesome.
For sure.
All right.
So the website?
roadtorecovery.com.
Okay.
r2rfund.com. Check them out.
Road, the number 2.
Yes.
Recovery.
Thank you guys for coming
Numeral.
and telling us about everything. And yes, please come back and let's do a lot more things together ongoing. And thanks to Ronnie Renner, everyone for listening. Appreciate checking us out here tonight. Don't forget to check us out here every Tuesday, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Go to the actionsportshow.com. Follow the social media. Download the podcast. And hey, from all of us here at the Action Sports Show, have a great week. Don't text and drive. We'll see you next time right here on the Action Sports Show. Have a great one.